Hello and welcome to the Team's Ministry webisodes. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Thank you very much for all the feedback that you keep giving us. We are excited at the amount of people that are just connecting with Mom's Cebisa. And so please feel free to just connect with us on Facebook. Today's topic in particular is a topic that is very close to Mom Cebisa's heart, because she writes in a book, This Is My Story, about an encounter that she had with rape. And if you are living in this society, you know for a fact that rape is one of the biggest things that we are facing and that we are battling with. So moms, we welcome you to the program. Thank you so much for your ministry. You can see that it's really helping and blessing a lot of people. So I know for a fact that once again today God is going to use you and that we're going to have a great time on the show. Feel free and be open, because I believe that with your openness, somebody out there is really being encouraged. And so I'd like Mom to read us a chapter in a book.
He tried to have sex with me very early, but would respect my nose. On the last day of school, he invited me in his house, and I knew what would happen. I decided that I would say yes if he tried to sleep with me again. When I got to his house, some of his friends were there. I thought nothing of it at first. Then I realized what was about to happen. I tried to get to the door, but I was blindsided, and all I could just see arms reaching for me. My clothes were torn off, my arms were held down, and my legs were open as each of Richard's friends raped me. All the fight I had in me was powerless against them. I screamed and I cried, begged them to stop, but they just hit me and continued. This went on for a few hours, but I told myself I would not be silenced. Even when my voice became hoarse, I continued shout out of help. When they were done, they dragged me out of their house and dumped me on the street. I had not stopped crying, and an old woman heard my cries and called the police.
That is such a touching story that you write in the book, and you say something in that book, and you say that you had already decided that you were actually going to sleep with him if he had asked you. Were you saved at that moment where you had given your life to Christ?
No, I was not saved, and no, I didn't even know that there was a Christ who saves.
So you're in the situation, you are in a relationship with this man, and clearly because he has already asked you many times and you have said no, he's kind of building trust. When you look in hindsight, were there any signs when it comes to this guy that he was actually going to gang rape you with his friends?
No, there were no signs that I saw from him. I only saw a man who's respectful, because in the beginning, every time he tried to sleep with me, I would say no and he would respect that. And I thought, now we have built the relationship with him, so now I thought I am ready to just sleep with him and have sex with him as my boyfriend.
If we are born again, our boundaries are religious. Then what was your reason for not wanting to sleep with him?
At that time, I thought it was too early for me to sleep with him. I didn't know him, I just met him. The relationship was fairly new. I can't remember very well. I don't think it was older than 3 months. So I thought, no ways, you can't sleep with a man which you don't even know. I didn't even know anything except that we met at school in the class. We were in the same class. So I never thought, but I know him very well. So the moment we started visiting his family and I started knowing few people of her family, then I thought, what now? This guy really loves me. And I think most of us, the trick is this: we are looking for love. And if you were not assured as you are growing up as a child about your father loving you, you will go and seek it somewhere. So I went out there. I didn't even go and seek. The love found me, because the desire, it was like I'm looking for love. And in that time, the love that I knew is the love of having a boyfriend.
Wow. And you still have to go to class and you still have to see this guy after the rape.
The good news, it was that the schools were closing. So it was our last day at school. And we were going to meet when I was going to start Form 2 the following year. It was the end of the year when it happened. So I knew with the end of the year, it's here, I won't see him. So I wouldn't have faced him until we meet on when I was on Form 2 with him. But had luck, I never went back to the school.
Mom, when you are talking to me in this book, you speak about the process of how it happens, which is gruesome and very saddening. But you ultimately say that they dump you on the road and an elderly woman finds you. I want to know, if that woman had not found you, were you going to report that rape?
To be honest, I wouldn't have reported it. The reason, growing up in the street of Soweto, growing up in the street of Soweto, it was something which was happening frequently enough. So you don't even think, what, there is anything the police can do about it, because they get arrested today and tomorrow they are out. And when they come out, you will pay for reporting. So you don't do in the community I was raised from. You don't just go to the police. I wouldn't have reported it. It was going to be my secret. I was not even going to share with no one at home.
Wow. Mom, we were talking just earlier on, and you say that at that point when you're getting raped, in your mind you're thinking about how you're going to pay back this guy. Talk to us about that, because I found that so profound.
As I said, I was not born again.
Yes.
There is a ways that we fight out there. Especially if you were raised in Soweto, you will know the fighting struggles that we use. We fight with using other people. For instance, if you know someone who's in gangsterism, or if you've got a relative which is in gangsterism, you use them against your enemies. I had many people that I knew at that time who were in gangsterism. So I've already made up in my mind what they are going to pay for what they have done, one by one. I don't care whether they are being killed or what's going to happen. And the worst part, the way I was meditating it was going to even involve the younger and elder sisters in the families. As I'm saying, I was close to the gangsterism. I knew a lot of people who were in gangsterism in my time. So I knew after this thing is done, I'm going to consult. And they were going to feel the pain I felt when they were raping me, because I was going to even ask my people that they rape their sisters while they are watching. That's cruel. That's the cruelty which was in me at that time. And I thought after that they will deal with them. I don't care how. If they decide to kill them, let them kill them. If they decide to torture them, let them torture them. As long they felt the pain they have put through in me.
Wow. Mom, you're one of the most gentle people that I've seen and that I've just encountered in life. And right now as you're speaking, I'm thinking, how does all that anger, all that hurt, all that pain, all that cruelty and unforgiveness, how do you flush that out and actually become a woman of God who stands in front of multitudes and preaches the love of Christ?
I will be honest again and say I didn't do anything. God did everything. You know, there is a favorite chapter in the Bible. It's not really my favorite, but it's very close to my heart. It's Psalm 139. Psalm 139, it makes free for you to understand what when you are naked with God, God can help you out in whatever situation. When I got born again, I've never shared this information. I had to arrive in a place of brokenness before God can deal with everything in me. And when I was broken is when I was doing my 3rd year at CPUT Belleville campus. Then I was really broken that time, and that's when I was born again now. And that's when God started little by little pointing stuff. You know, as a Christian you grow. As a child grows, and Christian are expected to grow. God didn't say today you are saved, now I'm cleaning everything out of your system. I had to work my salvation by building a relationship with Jesus Christ. As I was building the relationship with Jesus Christ was pointing things which are holding me back. There is another verse that you will find in the book of Isaiah, which God says we must forget about the past. And I had to confront that when God brought it into me. You know, when God ministered to you with something, when He brought it to me, I asked, how do you forget what I've gone through? How do you let go of what I've gone through? The pain, the hurt, the anger, everything which I was carrying in me, which I thought, one day I will have opportunity to pay back everyone who has done anything against me. How do I get over it and not do what my flesh wants? Then that's when God took me by His hand and started walking me through forgiveness. And I was like, how do you forgive? It's not an easy thing to say, I forgive you for raping me. I forgive you for hurting me this way. But I had to make a decision. When God spoke to me, when you do not forgive, I do not forgive you. I'm like, this is hectic. This person has been treating me well, and now he's telling me if I don't choose to forgive others, he won't forgive me. And he didn't only use those words, he used, when you do not forgive, you are a murderer. And I had to ask myself, dead people needs to be buried. Where I am burying everyone which I say is dead. And I found out in my heart, I've buried many people. I've carried everyone that has hurt me, and I've buried in my heart, and wherever I'm going, I'm dragging them. So I had to make a decision. Lord, I do not know how to forgive. Please help me out. Let's walk together in this journey. It was not a supernatural thing, but I started walking with God, and God slowly pointing areas that He's cleaning in me, which took years. It didn't take 1 year. I don't want to lie to people. It took years to reach where I am today. And I can say God made me to love than holding grudges, because I really hold grudges, and I really wanted to show people I can do worse than you have done to me. But when Christ came and showed me how much He loves me, how much he takes care of me, because when you love someone, you protect that person. Christ protected in many areas, because if He never saved me, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Wow, Mom, that is powerful. I just want to find out, Mom, because you were raped at that particular point in time, but you had also been molested when you were younger, and you were raped later on. Why is it that there is multiple rapes on one victim? Is it a spiritual thing? What happens? What do you think is the reason why, if someone is raped, it almost becomes easier for them to get raped again? Talk us through that.
I believe, since I'm a Christian now, to be continuously raped, it is a spiritual matter.
Okay.
And I don't only think it is only spiritual, I even think ukuthi what the people who walk before you have done. Remember, the Bible tells us ukuthi visits the third and the fourth generation of those people who doesn't obey his commandments. Sometimes us, we carry the burden of our great grandfathers and fathers. And I know people that said, no, when you are born again, you are a new creation. I don't argue that, but the baggage is there. You can be a new creation. If you don't deal with your baggage is still going to be with you. You have to offload it. You have to let go of it. You have to take that decision, acknowledge, ukuthi, this is what my parents did.
Yes.
And now I'm letting that go because I'm a new creation now. I disown the partake so that you are not followed by the stuff which are happening in your family. You need to look in your background of your family. Is this happening? It only happened to me, or is something which is happening in my family? I don't know what there are other people, but I found out recently what I've got cousins who are raping. So it must be something that is going through in the family. You need to go through that. It can be a spiritual thing, which if it's a spiritual thing, you need to identify what is it. I always tell people you cannot deal with something you do not know.
Okay.
You cannot go to battle and fight if you don't know who you are fighting against.
Alright.
So you need to identify it, and you need to know, is it spiritual? Is it generational curses? Then you know how to fight with them.
That's deep, eh? Because we've got a lot of people, Mom, who are raped, and someone else who has absolutely no idea that you were raped then comes and rapes you again, and it almost becomes like a cycle. And I'm sure people wonder what is it all about. And so I think you've heard Mom speaking about it, that it's really a spiritual matter that you need to investigate. Maybe in your family somebody else has been raped before, and you need to just rise up and begin to break that spirit, because it could also happen to your children, it could also happen to your great-grandchildren. So we literally need to stand up and rise up and begin to break these altars that are in our families. And I'm hoping that somebody out there who's watching will take up that issue in prayer and begin to just seek God's mercies for their family.